Welcome to Oulton Park in Cheshire for what has to be the most anticipated competition in the British racing calendar. This is the 2014 British GT Championship. Some huge grids, absolutely stunning supercars and a field of top draw drivers. We are going to see some breathtakingly close racing. It's going to be a lot of fun.
British GT is probably the most competitive championship in the world at the minute.
Incredibly professional series. You know, you see how many cars there are, how many teams there are taking it very, very seriously.
You know, it's testimony to the fact that it's, you know, probably the strongest GT series in the world at the moment.
Very strict on keeping one true amateur driver in each car.
Still not convinced? Well, just take a look at what happened last year.
The 2013 season is go. Oh, and they're off. That could be a mistake by Blundell. Oh, and the teammates, they've hit each other. Success for Andrew Howard and Johnny Adam. This is the final. Our 2013 champion, Andrew Howard. Harvick and Ratcliffe are the GT4 champions.
So, as this championship enters its 21st year, it really has come of age. There is going to be an immense battle for the title. So let's have a quick look at who's going to be in the fight. Here's Martin Haven.
If we've learned anything from the last couple of years, it's not to make predictions, but we can at least make a guess at who should be quick. Marco Attard came so close to clinching the championship last year. He's back with the BMW, but this time a new teammate, the quick Alexander Sims. Michael Caine and Ahmed Al-Harthi were winners towards the end of last season, but a change of car from Porsche to Aston Martin means they might now be a bit of an unknown quantity. It's great to see the return of Hector Lester in the Ferrari, this time with Benny Simonson, the brother of former teammate Alan, who was tragically killed at Le Mans last year. But the man they're all trying to beat, Andrew Howard, is back, and he is ready to defend his crown.
Having had no car changes and having no team changes, it's meant we could actually focus over the winter, the testing and the training that we're doing, and it actually has given us continuity, and that's probably more important than anything. So coming into a new season without new team members or big changes to cars is really, really important. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting year.
The competition this year has moved up another couple of notches with the arrival of the Bentley boys. The mighty GT Continental could be a serious contender.
They're a top team. It's amazing. You know, I've been working with them now from the middle of last year. Myself, Guy Smith and Andy Merrick, you know, developing the car, and British manufacturer. It's just amazing. You know, the first race in Britain for it. You know, it makes me really proud, yeah, to be with M Sport. Obviously, the car builder and the factory team. So it's really fantastic.
We also have the welcome return of two Nissans, Tom Onslow-Cole making the full-time switch from touring cars to GTs with the Strata 21 squad. The biggest name in the field has to be Sir Chris Hoy, somebody more famous for racing on two wheels than four. The six-time gold medal winning Olympian is very serious about his new career.
Be a massive challenge, but you know, with this team here, they're very experienced, they're great people, so I'm in the right place to learn, and you know, how far I go, who knows. The British cycling team, I think they really modelled themselves on the kind of F1 style of running a team. You know, everybody realises the importance that they play for the overall goal, the way that everyone's working as hard as they can, doesn't matter what role you're in the team. So to step from that kind of environment into this, it's not as difficult as it might have been. I think that's really helped me. Le Mans would be the dream, you know. I think it's always good to have challenging goals, and I think, you know, we'll see whether that's an achievable goal or not, but yeah, the dream is to drive at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and you know, this is the team that I can do it with, and you know, they've got so much experience, so I'm not thinking too far ahead. It's always good to have goals and you have a kind of stepping stones between where you are and where you want to be, but I'm not thinking too far beyond. I'm just thinking about this next stepping stone. You getting into the British GT series, doing as well as I can, and developing as a driver.
In a super strong GT4 field, last year's champion Rick Parfitt Jr. returns, as does arch rival Declan Jones, who'll be driving a BMW. They're joined out on track by former Porsche Cup driver Tanya Mann, who's making her British GT debut.
It's a very, very strong grid this year. I think there's about 13 cars, so for that reason there's going to be a lot of competition, and not only that, the drives and the pairings are incredibly strong. So it's good to have that competition, and from my perspective, I'm still on a very steep learning curve. So, and they're all, really good guys as well, so they're good fun to hang around with and just, get to know.
This is it. It is race time, and what incredible conditions we have. The weather is amazing. The cars, well, they just look spectacular, and it is an absolutely full grid. So who is on pole? Well, it's Ahmed Al-Harthi in this gorgeous looking Aston Martin, but just proving that they mean business. Look who's tucked in behind. It's the defending champions Beechdene, also in an Aston, in a track that traditionally favours Porsches.
2014 Avon Tyres British GT Championship is about to get underway. Ahmed Al-Harthi on pole position in his Aston Martin, defending champion alongside with the darker blue highlights on his car, Andrew Howard, as we get the season underway. Safely through the first corner for just about everybody. Al-Harthi leads them down the hill. Andrew Howard in second place. Dark blue and black is Marco Attard's BMW in third place for Kyriakos. And we ride on board with six-time Olympic champion Sir Chris Hoy making his British GT debut. Only the second year of racing for Chris Hoy. His intention is to be good enough to race at Le Mans in a couple of seasons. And this will be the perfect training ground. In the middle of your shot, the white Audi of Mark Patterson in 7th, John Minshaw's red Porsche in 8th. Wheel-to-wheel battles all the way through this massive 32-car field. Two-thirds of them in the GT3 class, the front runners. Red Ferrari number 13, John Dillon. Just behind him is the GT4 leaders. Here is the GT4 BMW, Peter Belshaw, spinning at the hairpin on the first lap. And down into Knickerbrook, all the Bentley on the inside, that's Robert Berg, clatters into John Minshaw. There's the first incident for the stewards to deal with from the season of racing. And Minshaw now has to wait for the whole field to go through, impatiently pumping the throttle before he can rejoin. Top half dozen cars starting to break away. And there is the Bentley of Berg. Looks like some damage on the left front corner. It's sitting down a little low. Ahmed Al-Harthi leads in the number 4 car. Beechdene Aston Martin showing its nose in second. Looking back to 8th place, there is the Bentley of Robert Berg. Oh, and he's been monstered by Mark Poole on the inside and Phil Dryber, number 6, on the outside. Oh, and the Bentley's off, and so is Dryber. Goodness, is this going to be a big pile-up? Malcolm Wilson can't believe it. 2 Bentleys trying to share the same bit of track. Well, what happened? This has got to be a legacy of the incident with the Porsche. The Bentley goes out of shot, but it goes off the track as well. And the sister car is right behind. That was nearly a multi-car pile-up. Battle for 5th place in the GT4 class. Oz Yusuf is the first of the 2 cars, number 77. The white Lotus Evora with the blue highlights, and behind 43, that's Morton Dons in one of the popular Ginettas. G55 car now eligible for racing in the GT4 class. A dozen cars in GT4 this year, fully a third of the field, and here is our leader, Ross Wiley, in the debutant, the Beechdene Aston Martin. Yes, they've got 1 in each class, and right behind is Rick Parfitt Jr. Now, last year he won the GT4 class title. Change of team to the team that he battled for the title last year, Century Motorsport, and he lies in 2nd place. On board with Parfitt Jr., he's got to keep the tyres and the car alive no matter how much he wants to get the lead of the class. He's got to hand over a good car to his teammate. Just behind is John Minshaw, the Demon tweaked Porsche. And here's why he's just behind. Watch how he looks in the mirror, sees Robert Berg coming, tries to open up the corner to give the Bentley room to survive, but to no avail. Berg already clattering into him. Trouble at Cascades, car number 40, that is Colin White, has gone off. He's not the only one, that's Godfrey Jones in the silver car. The white Porsche is the already heavily damaged car of Jody Firth, rebuilt after a practice smash. And he comes back on in front of John Minshaw. Oh, but he's trailing something. Look, there's liquid all over the circuit. That is, and a puncture on the left rear, I think, for Jones as he squirms to get back on track. Yeah, look, both cars badly damaged. There's damage on the front of Jody Firth's Porsche, and that will be leaking fluid everywhere. I think we might have lost 2 more cars. Here's our race leader, Ahmad Al-Harthi, and behind him, you can see with the headlights ablaze, the Beechdene Aston Martin. Battle for third, though. 2 BMWs, all black and blue. All smoke from Marco Attard as he locks up into Lodge Corner. Oh, no, he hasn't. He's blown up into Lodge Corner. Look at that. Right by the pit entrance, he's trailing oil all over the circuit. And that at the back of the car, I don't think that's engine, that's transmission. Oh boy, that will stink of transmission oil, one of the foulest smells in motor racing. He's left a trail following him everywhere. Luckily it was right at the end of the lap, but I think that is the end of the race for the Acuria Cos team. End of the race too for Godfrey Jones. Damage on the McLaren and left rear tyre almost completely off the rim now. End of the race for the Jones twins and for Marco Attard. On the right of your screen, the blue and black car, the BMW, looks like smoke from a locked wheel. In fact, I think that is the transmission just blowing up in the final corner.
That wasn't in the game plan, was it?
No, it wasn't. I was completely surprised, the whole thing. It's not as if I didn't feel anything, you know, before. Just going into Lodge, you know, 5th gear, went down to 4th, clunked 3rd, just didn't happen. Looks like the gearbox just completely exploded, split in half or something. I haven't seen it myself, but... A
lot of work to do to get that ready for race 2. A lot of work to do as well for Steve Tandy to get back to the pits in a very smoky Bentley. Ooh. And that's Barry Baxter's GT4 Porsche backing it off at Cascades. But look at Tandy's car. How can he see out of that? It is filled with smoke, which must smell and taste disgusting. GT4 leaders, Ross Wiley in the Aston, Rick Parfitt just getting out a shot in 2nd place. Behind him, the 2nd Beechdene Aston Martin. That is 2nd in the race for Andrew Howard ahead of the 888 black BMW. That is Derek Johnston, and he is closing the reigning champion down, 2nd and 3rd. Oh, and that's Rick Parfitt Jr., the reigning champion in GT4, and he's pulling over. Flicking switches, that's the starter, trying to get it to go again. Oh, and that is heartbreaking. A start to the title defence was looking good, battling for the lead. It's not starting. Now, safety car is about to be scrambled, sitting at pit exit, and in comes the first of our pit stoppers. Pit window is open. They're all having to park at an angle here at Oulton Park. It is a short pit lane in a massive field. So Andrew Howard will hand over to Johnny Adam. In comes Sir Chris Hoy. He will hand over to NISMA athlete Alex Buncombe. And of course, they have no need for fuel in this 1-hour race. They can change tyres, but it is unlikely that most will. Timed pit stops. And the 6-time Olympic champion bails out to hand over to Buncombe in the Nissan garage. Well, staying out on track is our race leader Ahmad Al-Harthi, but he comes in now a lap behind everybody else. And how will that play out? Is that going to be a benefit or a disadvantage? It might well mean that he gets stuck behind a lot of rivals in a long safety car queue. Alex Buncombe leading that little train out of the pit lane. There's Johnny Adam, he's already taken over from Andrew Howard, car number 1. Such a busy pit lane, everybody will stop now behind the safety car. The Bentley nearly spins in the background. What's going on with that? Alex Buncombe's Nissan right behind the safety car. Teammate Chris Hoy is in the pits.
Well, how does that feel? First race experience now.
Yeah, it was amazing, really. I can't believe half an hour just passed in the blink of an eye. Loads of exciting moments, loads of kind of near misses and exciting bits where I thought, you know, I might be going off the track, but yeah, I got a little bump from a Ferrari. At one point he turned in on me, but kept it on the track, and I think we came back in 9th place, so took 5 places from the grid position, so I'm pretty happy, yeah.
He looks happy, and Michael Caine leaving the pit lane means that Ahmad Al-Harthi should be happy as well. Started from pole and brought the car in to hand it over as the leading car.
Well, I've just helped you off the floor there, where you looked like you were having a rest or a relax, but you're not chilled at all, are you?
To be honest, the race is still on and it's always a stressful time. I did what I have to do. It was a good start, comfortable lead, and just trying to build away. But unfortunately, the safety car came right just before my pits, and hopefully doesn't cause so much damage to our lead. And now Michael just has to put his head down and do what he does best.
Lights off in the safety car at Oulton Park, round one of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship. There is Alex Buncombe, he's in 9th place. GT4 Aston behind. Then the second Nissan Tom Onslow Cole, the ex-touring car race. And Phil Keane in the Demon Tweaks Porsche, the red and white car. That is the battle for 10th, side by side as Buncombe tries to escape. The race leader a long way back down the queue, and this is going to be a very entertaining period as everybody tries to sort themselves out. Buncombe is clearing off like a scalded cat, leaving Onslow Cole to deal with Phil Keane, and over the brow, still waiting for the race leader, Michael Caine there with the blue nose on the white Aston Martin, and right behind, that in fact is his teammate, Rory Butcher, car number 5, trying to unlap himself. Now Caine won't want the distraction of an equally quickly driven Aston Martin right behind, even though it might be blocking some of his rivals. There's the number 2 Bentley, wriggling around under braking. And there is the second placed BMW. Black car of Luke Hines now with the day-glow yellow highlights. See it in the background. What is going to happen between these two Oman Racing Team Aston Martins? If the red car hassles Caine for too much longer, he ought to let it go. And the advantage might be that his teammate could open doors in traffic. See the GT4 battle side by side as the leaders sweep around. Number 2 Bentley is off the lead lap after its earlier dramas. And that is Jamie Stanley in the number 48 car. He has stopped out on the circuit, out of the way though. There's the black car of Luke Hines. Richard Lyons, the Ferrari, number 29, right behind. He's 3rd. Johnny Adam 4th in the Beechstein Aston Martin, the white and blue car, chinking around in traffic, trying to find a way by as they go by the Lotus Evora, the GT4 front runner. Still in a podium contention, that Lotus, but the BMW really coming on strong now here. Luke Hines dives to the inside of the GT4 Porsche. He makes that move safely, and now they all have to try and follow him through. There is your race leader, Michael Caine, and his teammate behind. Can he allow him to get by without losing ground? Battle for second in GT4, the Lotus on the inside of the Aston Martin. Gavin Kershaw, the second driver in the Lotus Evora. Devon Modell in that number 49 Aston Martin. A drag race over the line, and the Lotus has now got the advantage. It was an Aston 1-2 with Jake Giddings leading in the Beechstein Aston. It is now an Aston Martin 1-3. On the grass as he tries to get by. Be careful with those track limits though, don't ride the curbs, don't use too much grass. Much tougher rules in force this year. There is your race leader, black BMW right behind, has dived into the pits, and that's why Luke Hines has been given a stop and go penalty. The 888 BMW, there was some kind of pit infringement. They maybe have stopped just a little too short. He pulls into the penalty box and then is told by the team, serve it in the pit lane, stop and go. And that has killed their chance of winning this race, I'm afraid. It is a team sport. It's not just the car and one driver. It's not the car and 2 drivers. The team are just as important. Bentley flashing its headlights. Behind them, the battle for 3rd place. There's Johnny Adam in the number 1 Aston Martin. Matt Bell in the Audi right behind. Right behind him is Rob Bath's red Ferrari. Then Richard Abbott and John Gore closing in their Aston Martins. And here's the battle for 9th. Alex Buncombe, the Nissan, the red and white Porsche, that's Phil Keane. Andy Schultz and Stephen Caine's Bentley, Aaron Scott's Ferrari, Rory Butcher's Aston Martin are all in this battle. What a fantastic queue of cars, oh my goodness, there's a huge moment, and that's Rob Bath. What has happened there? John Gore in the Aston Martin has lost his bonnet. Was there contact as they went around the BMW in the GT4 class? Well, Bath is heading straight to the pits, and I'm not surprised. The way he rode that metal barrier, he almost got spat out of the track and into the trees. That was a very lucky escape. A Let's take a look at that incident and see if we can figure out what happened. Bath coming onto the straight, trying to get around the GT4 BMW. Bounces up in the air, he did. He clipped himself on the BMW. I think John Gore got involved trying to avoid him, and look at this. The barriers almost launch him into the trees. Lucky, lucky boy Rob Bath. Big accident, walked away. Well, what a great story for the Beechdean Aston Martin team, in contention for the overall win, but really in contention here in GT4. This is their new part of the team. The GT4 car started from pole by Ross Wiley. Jake Giddings now doing the second stint, and look, no one close to him in class. What a great run.
Ross, you were leading, feeling good?
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, it's a completely different experience for me. So I was a bit nervous in the first rolling start, but yeah, we managed to hold the lead, and safety car came in, so perfect opportunity to do a driver change, and I'm feeling confident Jake will do a good job.
Championship winning team you've joined. Pressure?
I'm not sure if there is a little bit added pressure. I'm not entirely sure, but it's certainly great to be representing Beechdean, coming into the series as reigning GT3 champions, so yeah, really proud to be a part of it.
Race leader Michael Caine on the last lap here at Oulton Park. 2012, the champion with Daniele Perfetti. Raced in the Porsche as well last year, but the change to Aston Martin really looks to have been a good one for he and Ahmad Al-Harthi. Whatever Aston Martin have done over the winter on this GT3 car has really worked. They have got two cars in the top 4 positions, because the Beechdean Aston Martin lies in 3rd place. They've got 4 cars in the top half dozen. Well, what a great start to anybody's season. Michael Caine with just a couple of corners remaining. Al-Harthi started from pole position, handed over a leading car, and Michael Caine is not the sort of man to drop a ball like that. He will come out of Lodge through Dearly, the checkered flag flies. It is victory for the Oman Racing Team in Oulton Park. Aston strong in GT4 as well, as the Beechdean team claim their maiden win. A debut win in GT4 for Beechdean's Jake Giddings and Ross Wiley. Teammates Andrew Howard and Johnny Adam third behind Panis Latour and Richard Lyons, but our race winners Ahmad Al-Harthi and Michael Caine.
Swapping cars, proven very, very worthwhile, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I mean, Aston have been great. They've helped us all the way, and they do a great job. They build a good car, and it looks like it takes the weight better. But yeah, new crash helmet with the girls on it. So yeah. That's the first win, girls.
Couldn't blame the car. It's absolutely faultless. Team done a fantastic job, as they always do, and it's just, yeah, a fantastic way to start the season and mine and Ross's GT careers.
It is a fantastic start for them. They lead the championship after the first race in GT4. Beechdean, the defending champions, lie third behind the AF Corsa duo Lazarus and Lyons, but it's Ahmad Al-Harthi and Michael Caine on the top of the points pile.
Well, British GT is back, and what a feast of racing we are able to enjoy once more. Congratulations, of course, to Michael Caine and Ahmad Al-Harthi for their excellent win. We're back here at Oulton Park for round 2 next week. We'll see you then.